Good morning, children. This is Mrs. Bharti Quatra, HOD English, Vadodara Public School, Patiala. We are here to send you with your lectures because you are very well aware that the classes have been called off. Why they have been called off is because the nation is fighting with a very deadly virus, that's COVID-19. Our Honorable Prime Minister has also requested each one of us to perform our duties as a citizen of India and at least to sanitize our hands, our surroundings as often as possible and not to go for any social gathering. Therefore, me and my team will send you with your lectures every day. Well, for today, children, I have for you A Thing of Beauty by John Keats. It's one of my favorite poems. John Keats is a romantic poet. A romantic does not only mean love between two people, it also means romanticism with nature. And here in this poem, we have real romance with nature, where Endymion, he's a shepherd, and he lives on Mount Latmos. He gets to see Cynthia, the moon goddess, and he falls in love with her. Cynthia disappears, and he, in his search for Cynthia, crosses various forms of nature, and each form of nature leave an indelible imprint on him and on his mind. This poem is basically an extract taken from a very long poem called Endymion, a Poetic Romance by John Keats. It's based on a Greek legend. I start. Before I start, I would request all my children to kindly keep the text open before them because I am now going to go for detailed paraphrasing of the poem. The first stanza reads, "A thing of beauty is a joy forever. Its loveliness increases. It will never pass into nothingness." The poet says that a thing of beauty is a joy forever. This line is self-explanatory. It says that any object of beauty emits joy. Joy which is eternal, which is everlasting. And its loveliness, its charm only increases with the passage of time. Therefore, it can never ever become insignificant. But will keep a bower quiet for us and a sleep full of sweet dreams and health and quiet breathing. This beauty that is found in nature provides man with a bower. Bower, a resting place. What is man going to do in a resting place? He's going to rest. He's going to sleep. And he's going to have a sleep which is going to be a sound sleep, full of sweet dreams. So he's going to feel very rejuvenated, very relaxed. Poet goes ahead to say, therefore, on every morning, are we wreathing a flowery band to bind us to the earth? So when he wakes up the next morning, feeling rejuvenated, feeling so relaxed and infused with optimism, there's a question in his mind that what is that beautiful connection between man and earth? What is that beautiful association which man makes with earth? Since there's a question, there has to be an answer. Yes? Here, please pay particular attention. The poet goes ahead to say, spite of despondence, of the inhuman dearth of noble natures, of the gloomy days, of all the unhealthy and over-darkened rays made for us such. So the poet here, he stresses on the fact that whenever man is sad, he searches. What are the reasons of his sadness? Despondence, inhuman dearth of noble natures, and unhealthy and over-darkened ways. Despondence, lack of hope. Dearth of noble natures. Dearth, shortage. Shortage of what? Noble natures. Noble natures is virtues. And when both of them are there, man commits ignoble deeds. And when he commits ignoble deeds, yes, sadness comes upon him. And when he's sad, he searches. Yes, the poet says, in spite of all, some shape of beauty moves away the pall from our dark spirits. So the poet says, since life is full of tribulations, trials, yes, and the result is mostly sadness, man searches, and it is the wonderful sights of nature which remove the grim thoughts from man, which remove his negativity and infuse him with more enthusiasm to live his life. We go ahead. The poet continues, such the sun, the moon, trees, old and young, sprouting a shady boon for simple sheep. Such are daffodils with the green fields they live in, and clear rills that for themselves a cooling covert make against the hot season. The mid-forest brake, rich with a sprinkling of fair musk rose blooms. The poet in the stanza here wishes to list those objects of beauty which he states are the sun, the moon, the daffodils, the trees, the rills, and the forest rich with musk roses blooming. To further understand, please understand, we say shine like the sun. That means sun is giving us what? Inspiration. Moon, be calm like the moon. Soothing, calming effect. Trees, generosity, they provide shade for everyone, irrespective of every difference. Rills are streams. If you see a stream in the hot weather, what happens? You start feeling cool itself. So it's made a cooling effect all around itself. And a very very common example is forest with musk rose blooming. No matter how adverse the situation is, no matter how difficult the situation is, one can always overcome those difficulties and bloom like roses. So each sight of beauty basically inspires man, motivates man, soothes him, encourages him according to man's need. The poet goes ahead and he says, and such too is the grandeur of the dooms we have imagined for the mighty dead, all lovely tales that we have heard or read. Now the poet even associates grandeur with dooms. Grandeur, magnificence. He says death is also beautiful. Now, nature is a complete cycle of life and death. Therefore, we always say that nature is perennial. It's ever flowing. It's continuous. Yes? And so is the cycle. So the poet here very clearly says that there is beauty even associated with death. Dooms here refers to ruins. Ruins in the form of the stories which have been left behind by our heroic forefathers, or the forts which have been left behind, and each of them are basically telling us a story, a saga, which we either hear or we read, and each of those stories have a sublime effect on us. This extract ends with a very powerful comparison. The last two lines, an endless fountain of immortal drink pouring unto us from heaven's brink. The poet says that this nature is basically a blessing from God Almighty, because it is flowing from heaven, from the edge of heaven. It is flowing down in the form of a fountain, and humans are blessed to drink from it, whatever their need is. Now we'll quickly have a short recapitulation of the main points of the poem. So we'll have a quick recapitulation of the poem. A thing of beauty, It gives you everlasting joy. Its charm increases with the passage of time, and therefore it will never lose its significance. Which beauty am I talking about? Beauty in nature. So that beauty in nature provides man with a bower, that's a resting place. When man rests in a bower, he feels rejuvenated and infused with optimism. Therefore, a question arises in his mind, and that is, what is the beautiful association which binds man to earth? The answer is that in sadness, reasons of sadness are despondence, shortage of virtue, leading to ignoble deeds, which results in sadness. Man searches. He searches for motivation, consolation, solace, etc. So that sadness is removed by beautiful objects. Now, what are the beautiful objects? To quote some, sun, moon, trees, daffodils, rills, forest with musk roses blooming. This is living nature. Beauty is also associated with death. The poet says that there is beauty even in death. Now, this beauty of nature is a blessing from heaven, because nature is elixir for humanities. That is basically the crux of the poem. Yes, in the next video, children, I'll be sending you assignment, which I am very hopeful which you all will complete and will post it back to me. Thank you.